Hey guys, it's Frank from the BI forums, and in this ArmA 3 video, we're going to go over how to add some simple lobby parameters to our mission. So to get started, I'm just going to demonstrate what it looks like if you were to set up these parameters yourself as an admin. So if we were to host a mission or a server, in the top right corner, we have a button that says parameters. Left click that, and here are the parameters we're going to go over how to add in our mission in this video. So we have the viewDistance parameter, the time of day parameter, and the weather. So basically the view distance we could configure what the default view distance is for all the clients that connect. We can change what specific time of day it is by the hour when the mission starts, as well as what the default weather conditions are when the mission starts. And we don't even have to go into the editor. In fact, all we have to do is go into My Documents, go into ArmA 3 Other Profiles, your ArmA 3 profile, your missions folder, and then find the folder that your mission is located in. In this folder, you want to create a DESCRIPTION.EXT file if one does not exist already, and an InitPlayerLocal.SQF. First, we're going to look at the DESCRIPTION.EXT. I've already highlighted the important areas, but basically, I'm going to have this in the description of the video, so just copy and paste this, and I'll explain what everything means. So first, we have class params and an open squiggly bracket. Class params is just one of those things for the description.ext that basically defines what the parameters are, if that makes sense. So everything in here, in between this squiggly line and this squiggly line, is all going to be parameters for our mission. So the first parameter, we have class, and then a variable, and then open squiggly bracket. By the way, this variable does not have to be named viewDistance. You can name it whatever you want, but it keeps it simple and you know what it is. You can name it VD if you wanted. Anyway, the second line, or sixth line, is paramsArray 0. This just tells me that this is the first parameter, in case I get confused. You know, it happens. So, it has no functionality whatsoever. You could actually delete that line if you wanted to, but I would recommend you keep that, unless this would basically turn into 1 if you put a parameter up here. Keep that in mind. So basically, in scripting terms, everything starts from 0. So instead of 1, 2, 3, it starts from 0, 1, 2. Hopefully that makes sense. So anyway, to explain how this works so far, let's go into the InitPlayerLocal.SQF. In this file, there's 2 lines. We have the variable we've created and the description.ext, which is viewDistance, right here. And by the way, note the underscore before viewDistance. That makes it, you know, an underscore and then whatever is usually a variable. And then equals Params Array. This just selects, you know, it just lets you know that it's a parameter, or that allows the scripting to know it's a parameter that you're looking for, and it selects the first parameter, 0, which is here, of course. This is the first parameter in the class params, so it's 0. Hopefully that makes sense. And then the second line in the InitPlayerLocal.SQF is setViewDistance, which is a command to set the view distance, and instead of setting it to like 1,000 or whatever, we have it set to the variable. What this does is since we, right here, say that the variable equals the first parameter, which is right here, it will select the value of that variable, which of course will be the values right down here, or the default value. And to elaborate on what these parts mean, we have title, values, and default. Title is basically what the player sees in the lobby parameters, so it lets them know what they're going to be configuring. So this actually doesn't, you can name this whatever you want, of course, but just to explain what it is. Then values, we have 1600, 1800, 2000, and 2500. Note that they're all separated by a comma, and that the last value does not have a comma afterwards. Make sure there is no comma afterwards. And of course, for default, in case the player or the admin does not set up does not specifically select their own view distance setting or whatever the parameter is that you have set up, it'll select the default value. Hopefully that makes sense. So that's the first parameter, the class view, the view distance parameter, and that is doable through the InitPlayerLocal.SQF as well. So make sure you have those 2 files. Next is this is the simpler way of doing parameters, and these are for time of day and weather. And literally all you have to do is copy and paste this into your description.ext, but as long as it's within the class params and then within these 2 squiggly lines. So you have these 4 hashtags and make sure they're inside the squiggly lines. I put them at the bottom because I wanted viewDistance to be the first thing that the player could select. You could put it on the top if you wanted. Anyway, so right here is the time of day by the hour parameter. So that just, enables the time of day parameter. And this right here allows us to add a default time of day setting. So by default, the time of day will be like 4 a.m. or whatever, or 6 a.m. I forget how the 24-hour cycle works, but yeah. Then we have the weather, default weather parameter right here that gets enabled. This, like I said, this is already integrated in the game, so you don't need any scripting knowledge at all. You don't need to. All you really need to know is where to put this, and you put it in between the two squiggly lines. Anyway, and down here, of course, is the default value for the weather. So, according to the wiki, this value can be set from 0 to 100. However, it doesn't seem to work that well, because every time I change this, it usually sits at either clear or cloudy. Usually at cloudy. So it seems to work half the time, and not even to full effect. So I wouldn't really rely on the default value unless the wiki is just misrepresented. Anyway, I'll have the link in the description of the video below, so you can check it out for yourself. But yeah, that's the best I can do. Anyway, hopefully this video was helpful. If you have any questions whatsoever, just ask in the comments, and I will answer them as best as I can. Anyway, thanks for watching, and I hope to see you guys next time in the next video. Take it easy.